Hey, I just wanted to do a quick video to show folks a little behind the scenes of how I'm making these Strasbourg replay videos. The goal I always had when I figured if I ever did any kind of these replays, I would want to make things really, really clear on the screen. And so what I've done is I've taken the PDFs and I've sliced them up into images. I'll show you real quick on my computer here where I started. In this folder, I have the PDFs that I buy from Inside Sports. I then slice those or I convert each page of the PDF into an image, and then I slice the image up into individual cards. So you can see here, I'll open up the Fenway Park card. This is just every page is sliced into images, just like if you were to print them out and slice them up and put them in folders. That's essentially what I'm doing behind the scenes. So you can see here, if I go to replay, and the teams, I've got all the teams we played so far. So if I look at, say, the Brewers, and then I look at their batters, you can see I've got the lineup in here with Lorenzo Cain leading off, Christian Yelich batting second, Moustakas third, and I can step through those. And so when I started the videos, we were just using basic image software that you saw there to display images, as simple as that. Put the images in folders and step through them. I found it a bit cumbersome to switch between innings. So when you wanted to switch the pitcher and the batters, you had to basically, I would set up everything on two different screens and then I would switch between them. Recently, I added a tool to put it all on one screen. So basically, what you're seeing on the screen are three different Python applications that I wrote. I wrote them using Pygame. This is the website for Pygame. You can see it here. If you're a programmer, you might find that interesting. Otherwise, it's not super helpful for folks looking to replicate this. But uh, again, there's three different tools here. The bottom tool is the most complicated. Basically, on the left side, I have the pitcher, of course. I have the batting order here, the ballpark card, and then this defensive display area. So I'll kind of walk through it left to right. The pitchers are here. They're all in one stack. So all the pitchers for a particular team are in a stack, and I can move through them either by using the scroll wheel or just clicking, and I can move forwards or backwards, and that's really easy. When you want to change a pitcher, just kind of step through, find the new pitcher. For the game, this is for the game I'm playing tonight in the Inside Pitch League. We're in our inaugural season, and you can see on the scoreboard, it's the Flower City Hot Devils versus my team, the Boston Brewers. And tonight we'll have Ken Holtzman on the mound, so that's why he's loaded up here. And leading off for the Hot Devils will be Glenn Beckert. And the way the batting order works is I have 9 cards in a folder, and I added this extra bit of number here to show where we are in the batting order, and I can move through that deck just the same way I did the pitcher deck with the scroll wheel or by clicking. And when I get to the end, if I continue, I go right back to the beginning, and that's really helpful. We had a couple of games in the early going where we batted out of order because I forgot to go back to the beginning, but now this has made it a lot more simple. I've tried to make it so even my son can drive when we make the videos. The key simplicity here for me is that I can hit spacebar and it'll switch the defense and the pitcher and a batter. So now my team's at the plate and the Hot Devils are in the field. So that's really nice. Recently, I added the ability to highlight cells. So it's not actually highlighting the cell. You can see if I click here in the middle, it'll just highlight wherever I click. But I can show the viewer, 2-3 is a wild pitch. I can click it. Range play at the ballpark, I can click those things, and I can do that on the batter's card or the stadium. And if I move to the next batter, it clears it all out. So that's really nice. I think it adds a little more clarity. The more I add, the more I start to approach the computer game, and I'm not trying to replicate the computer game. I really find value in the cards and dice, the manual aspect of it. The computer game does a lot of things for you by adding up different things, applying the rules, and in league play, we're playing with manual cards and dice, and I like that, and I like to do that myself. So this is a sort of a happy medium where I don't have to spend the money to print the cards, and I don't have to play on the computer game. I can sort of make my own setup however I like to do it. The defensive display over here is the most complicated. What I typically do is if a guy reaches base, I can click and make a red dot for the runner, and I can make as many of those as I need wherever on the screen I want to. I can erase them, and I can also give them base running ratings. if I go up to 5 and go back to 0 and then back to the top. So if the guy's a 4, and let's say there's a single to short, what I'll do is here, he's a 4, and I can hit C for chart, and it'll show me there's a single to short. So we're looking on the left side of the slash for first to third. So if he's trying to go first to third on that single, he needs to be a 5. So, if there were 2 outs, he'd make it, right? You add 1 for 2 outs, and he would be able to go to third. But if there was 1 out, he'd be stuck at second. Same applies for hits to the outfield. So if let's see here, if he was a 3 trying to score on, let's say, a single to right, so second to home, he gets +1, so he's a 4. And then in this case, my right fielder Pagan's not very good, not a very good arm, so he's +2. So 4 plus 2 more is 6. So he would score without a throw. So you can see that's how I do base runner advancement. I think that's the most challenging part of the game. I think it's important. If I were playing with just on paper with a scorecard, I would be writing all these defensive ratings out on that scorecard to help me do things quickly. A double play, you can see the pivots really fast, things like that. Just really simplifies the flow of the game. I think that's about it about this piece down here. And this is by far the most complicated part of my setup. The little dice tool I made up here, I really like. There's 4 die, your 2d6 here with the red and the white, traditional colors, the blue for the d20, and then another d6 is my green die. That's for my range checks and other things. Initially, I was rolling all 4. Recently, I've come to like just rolling these 3. So if I click in the gray, it'll roll those 3. You get so let's say this is a 4-5, so a 4-5, we got a K chance, and a 5 against this hitter, this being a lefty Holtzman. He's a 3, and the ballpark doesn't add anything, so it's not a strikeout. And we move to Beckert's card. We roll, we get a 6-3, and we have a single to right field, right? So then I put him on first, and it kind of moves around like that. He's a 4, et cetera, et cetera. You've seen that in the videos, I think. The dice, it's pretty simple. Like I said, if I click the gray, it rolls the first 3. If I want to roll, say, just the D20, I can click that and roll just a single D20. If I want to roll on the throw chart and I want to roll these 2 D6 at the same time, either one, I can click those and it'll just roll those. And finally, if I want that range check, I can do that by itself. So say if there's a hit to left field here, Frank Robinson's a 3, and I say, is it going to be a hit? And nope, it's a 5. He doesn't make the play. So it adds a little bit more drama, and I've liked how that's worked. The scoreboard I modeled after the line score on the scoreboard at Nats Park. It's the same font, and if you've seen that, you'll see. I think it's a pretty good copy. And all this is a manual way I can click through and add runs. They'll sum. So 4 runs in the third, 2 in the fourth. You get 6 runs. That adds just like you would think it would. And then the hits and errors are all manual. I can add and subtract those and erase them. It's a pretty simple setup there. Recently, I've been able to play with editing the defense on the fly. Basically, I open a text file and I change the names here, and then I can refresh the page. That's pretty easy to do. And finally, I just give a shout out to the tool that I'm using for the screencast. It's a tool called VocoScreen NG. It's an open source program, and I had really good success with it so far. It meets all of my needs. I know there's a lot of other tools that do the same thing, but this has been a really nice one, and the developers have been very responsive. I found a bug once, and they fixed it within a week. So good job by them, and that's the one I'm using. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say. I hope no one's too disappointed. This is all custom. I think you can definitely achieve the same things I'm doing here without using custom tooling if you wanted to just use image programs. What I was really going for was a clean screen with nothing on it. You won't see any toolbars or, windows or side panels. I tried to get all those off the screen with a nice green background here. And if you're going to use an image program, the one I was using to start with, I had it so you would show the card without any kind of border at all. Thought that made for a really clean look. In this case, this is all now one panel, so I can move that around. And then these are all, individual tools there. But that's pretty much it. Hope folks are enjoying the videos. I know I'm really enjoying making them. Both of my sons, my older two, I have three boys, so the older two are generally ones you see on the video. My oldest, Sam, is the scorekeeper, and they're having a blast. I mean, this is in this COVID time without having baseball, real baseball, other than, we've been seeing a little bit of the KBO. There's not much to keep us busy with that. Little League's canceled. And so this has kind of been our respite from the lost world of baseball. And we're having a great time. And the league I'm in is awesome too. A lot of people enjoying that. So I hope you'll keep tuning in and watching the Strasburg replay. Thanks for watching.